Right. Okay. Most of the time, I love to put it down, meaning that I love to put the defining of the enforcement law, right? Okay, enforcement law, today we're looking into it as a system where the member of government acting in a manner, and that manner, right, enforce the law, all right, by discovering, deterring, rehabilitation, or punishing people who violates the rule, and this regulation, procedure, or the manner, all right, okay, will be punished. That is the whole situation of enforcement law. So enforcement law, including discovering, because some of you in the MMEA police can discover, deter, rehabilitate, or punished, right? Okay, right? Okay, in that way, right, the usual one is in this situation we call them police, right? But in Malaysia we have identified the enforcement body to be in variety, right? Okay, like you know, and the one that again another big force in Malaysia is the MMEA, Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency at sea. All right. Okay. The typical one, we always consider their power as a policing power. Why did I put the word sheriff over there? Just to let you know that in some country, the police are called sheriff, especially in America, where, all right, police is when they are hired by the federal, or when the states hire the law according to the federal. All right. Whereas sheriff are for the constituency that are smaller. All right. Okay. Kita in Malaysia, we don't have sheriff. Everything is policed, right? But we do have other enforcement body. All right. Okay. So that is the difference. So that you know, at international level, the enforcement description and the function of enforcement law is still the same. Okay. Boleh? Right? Any questions? Tak ada. Okay. Right. Once we accepted that, then we want to know, okay, from the thank you. Right. Okay. From the perspective of the social. Right. This is the one that the enforcement body or enforcement authority will need to take care of. All right. Apa maksud take care of? Perspective, their perspective, because there are more than you, all right? Their perspective has to be meeting your perspective of your job. If your perspective of your job is discovering, deterring, rehabilitation, and at the end punished. Even though the word punish there appear, this punished doesn't mean that you are the court yourself. But the punishment here refers to the force that you are using. If they are stealing the, snatching the handbag, and you see that, right, you can go and hunt for them, catch them, and then affix arrest, public arrest. Are you aware of that? All right? Okay, public arrest. So that is the kind of punishment here that is different from the punishment that appear as the end of the result when you go for prosecution or for when it is put on trial. All right. Okay. So today we want to look into this function. The function of the enforcement body in the contemporary legal issue from the eyes of the social public. All right. Okay. Now, why do we need to scrutinize or standardize the meaning to be the same? Those three description of your job and the perspective of the social looking at you discharging your duty. That pairing. Why is it so important? Yes, you go to school to understand, meaning that you have training, you go to university All right, you've been told what your job is about. Yet the public have zero information of what your job is all about. Why do you arrest? Why do you commit this arrest on a person when to them that person is not doing anything wrong? Why do you come into the house and look for certain things that they were not even told? All right, yet they feel that that is encroaching on their rights. That makes a contemporary problem. That makes a contemporary issue. All right, coming back into your perspective, from your standing in your nature of work, some of you are police, so you understand that one very well, but some of you are in the hospital. So, all right, in the hospital, not everyone go to hospital or go for a treatment or be done or go call them in, were ready to expose themselves or relay themselves towards the action. All right. Okay, that's why some people fear going to the hospital because of the enforcement that is being done on them. All right. Some people willingly go to the hospital, but not willingly to relay. I mean, to lay down and accept what is done to them when that is done to them for the better of them. So how do you cope with this? All right. Okay, how do you cope with this situation that their perspective is not of the same level with your duty, with you discharging your duty towards them? That is contemporary issue from social perspective. Right, let's give it a breather and think about it in a minute. All right, okay. So the objective again to come to class is to understand this. So by the time you graduate, my objective is to make sure you have a little bigger perspective or a little different perspective than the one you have before. So you must know sometimes in your approach to the public, there is a need for educating them. We're not telling you to give them a lecture. No, what you have to do is you have to explain. All right, explain. Explain in how far must you explain? You simply just explain on the duty or the task that you are facing now. All right, okay, you will understand some enforcement officer are being accepted willingly. Some police are being accepted by the public willingly. Some doctors or nurses are favored by, or attendants in the hospital are favored by. Why? Because of their explanation. When you explain to them this nature of your job, when you first meet the public, when you first meet eye to eye with a person in front of you, all right, you know what happened? Okay, they are more ready to honor you discharging your duty and pushing you away. Right. That is called a theory of informing the public. Are you following me? Right? Okay. So boleh Hazwani? All right. Okay, dear. Thank you. Right. So that is the first part of this PowerPoint, the whole thing. Sometimes I write them, I don't explain them, all right, in detail. So we are going to go through the PowerPoint. Alright, okay, let's look into, oh, saya ada kosong ke? Alright, okay, let's look into, sorry, this one terhalus pula dia, kan? Alright, it is most applied. Do you know why I'm writing them in this capital? Alright, I know sometimes a capital is difficult to read, but because my apa ni, keyboard ni dia dah tenggelam dah, some of it. My cat sometimes stepped on it. Tapi pagi ni dia dah, anak I dah betulkan dah. Right, so today we want to look into the character. What character? Character of you in discharging your duty that is in connection with the public. All right, you will be engaging in surveillance. Some public likes it, they want to participate it. And you know, in Malaysia, all right, when a police or any enforcement body, all right, okay, is going on surveillance, none of them, most of the time, if you are the public that is just an ordinary, not a person involved in the suspect, all right, in that situation, okay, the public will be willing to assist you. So that shows that we have a public that is willing to cooperate with the enforcement body. And in the world, Malaysia is a place where you culprits shouldn't hide, all right? Because the public will always disclose whoever is hiding, especially the bad one. It may be for a while, but then after that, you will be exposed back to the police or to the enforcement body, right? Okay, Interpol, in sometimes when they had a discussion during the consultation, they did admire that. But still, having said that, one or two, we still haven't caught them, right? Okay, but we're not talking about, all right, the offender or the criminals, all right? We are talking about the commoner. We are talking about the public, all right? We are talking about the public coping with you and assisting you so that your surveillance work will be done properly, right? Or will be assisted, right? When we do when the enforcement goes on surveillance, sometimes my son described that he is going to down south, all right, to do some work, but he is not going to be, all right, okay, looking officials, all right. They have a uniform, he's not wearing them, he doesn't even bring suitcase. It's simply just going to visit some old folks and then go to the places where they want to carry out the surveillance job. They do that. Long ago, I have a bundle of students in my criminal law do the same. Right, sometimes long ago when my kids are small and I just want them to be quiet, I always put my kids in a car and I take them to the warung coffee restaurant all over, and I mark them in my calendar where I've been. So a lot of places I have been, right, especially during the weekend. Long ago, we have a class only in the morning because, you know, students are small, batches are small too. All right, so I roam around and I've been working from Terengganu all the way down to Johor UITM, right? So sometimes I met my student because long ago, 16 years in my early part as a lecturer, I taught criminal law, right? So sometimes I met my student and my student will always pass a message not to recognize them. In class, they will always say that, but that was the nature a long time ago. And nowadays, I don't go out anymore, especially nowadays. All right. Okay. So the thing is this, surveillance, right? We cooperate for the surveillance. So how would you? Do you explain to the public that you are now? No, right? You don't look suspicious. You don't explain. But what do you want? You want cooperation. So that is the most vital that you want from the public in discharging your nature. Surveillance, patrolling, right? That patrolling is the word from overseas, all right? Okay, surveillance is the one that we understand in this country, all right? What do? Why do you do this? Because you want to dissuade and discover. You want to investigate. You want to encompass the correction. All right. You want to know the behavior. Okay. You want to make sure that this violence covers some areas. So next time when you go back, you know who are there. But one thing you must know, you want to end that place so that violence or crime or offenders are not taking that place as their refuge, tempat bersembunyi. All right. Okay. So in discharging your duty, patrolling and surveillance, again, what would you do? In the main part, you are to educate, but you are to explain your education standard only when you go there with a warrant. That one is more of the physical, all right, and clear duty discharge of your enforcement. You want to explain to them that you have this warrant and the warrant is to do certain things, and that fella is a suspect. You have enough evidence to think that the property that in your search is there in that property. And that information you were looking for, or the evidence that you're looking for at the moment, we don't want to say evidence, isn't it? At the moment, you want to say the property in question is in that place. All right, okay. There are two situations in this country. Right, you surveil. Satu, you have the power, you have the discharge, you have the warrant to come, to go in, all right, to do your action. You can't simply just ask them and walk in. We've seen a lot in the movie, but that is in the movie. And sometimes we hear a lot in the newspaper that you did not regard their rights in their house. Of course, you have the authority to come in, look for the goods. Should you behave as if you are going to rob the place? All right. Okay, discharging. Why? We need the public to be calm. All right. So in a minute, you will see the implication if they are not being told, they are not being briefed. That's two different words. Sometimes you can tell them. That's why you need the head of the mission, to recover, to come in. Sometimes the inspector will come in. All right. In other time, looking into the standard of this person, then a higher people will come in. Right. In my talk with some of my police friend. All right. Okay. Sometimes they simply want to look tough. If you come into not a house, but a place where it is a den for all the suspect offender, definitely you want to look tough. So discharging and knowing what is in front. So briefing before you go for this, all right, okay, confiscating, seizing, or taking out evidence is very important. Briefing to your team, briefing to your group, a briefing that you must receive, that briefing must be done. It can't be that the authority, katalah inspector, snatch that warrant that has already been signed and kata, let's go. All right, it's not preparing. Okay, the objective of this class is to make sure that the society and you are calm at that duty. All right, of course, when you do that, when you just snatch the paper, go into there, bang on the door, or force the door open, all right, there will be an implication at the end. Right? The implication in Malaysia is not yet as severe as in other countries. In Malaysia, when police come in, I'm sorry, so does the enforcement, so does the health minister who come in check a bit dekat luar, all right, okay, or come in to check the dengue people inside the house, or check long ago checking malaria, all right, in the shop, okay, right? They come in, they look at people who are sick. Some people who are sick, they don't go to the hospital. Number one, because they are scared of the injection or the treatment. Number two, because they don't think that they are that kind of sickness, that they will spread the germs to others. Sometimes simply because they can't go. They have no vehicles. There are no people taking care of them. All right. Okay, now all this situation will have to be taken into your consideration, your mind, your briefing, face it. If you are walking into the den of criminals, yes, you have to look the force that you should be. If you're coming into the shop of all these shopkeepers, long time ago, Kelang was visited by a team to check malaria and dengue later. All right, but these people are really all shocked. All right, when you come in and try to kick something, everything will be broken down. When you come in, try to lift certain things, all right, everything will be falling from the top because they are all short. So knowing the place where you want to go for your action in discharging your duty, and for the surveillance. Surveillance, definitely you only watched, but sometimes when you watch and you report, what are you watching? So you have to limit your surveillance only to the item or to the person, right? Again, briefing is very important. What are you looking for? Sometimes to discharge your duty, all right, you were told to do a surveillance for drug. Sometimes the drug is passing under our nose. In some country, the drug is hidden in bawang, in ladder, in cabbages, all right, in jarro, in bottles. But the drugs does not come in packing, right? Okay, so surveillance. First, surveillance is to know the running of the market or the place. I'm not showing to you how to carry out your duty, but through my readings, all right, and through my discussion, okay, this is how we want to improve. Not to improve your service, but to improve the perspective from the what the social will be receiving at the end. All right. So first surveillance, you need to know what you were looking for. In your surveillance, you will need to know the society at the area you are surveilling. If you are surveilling is an old aging, then figure out, be clever or be curious. How does drug get passed by? All right. How does these old people deal with health? How does these old people, all right, commit theft? In England, the old group that comes in a group, I'm a tourist. A lot of my friends, some of them are magistrate, young magistrate. Now they are lawyers. All right. We were in England visiting. I lived in England. They come and visit and stay at my place with their children. We were in a clock shop, right, kasut, that sells shoes. We were busy buying shoes for our kids, all right. At that time, I have two. Some of the magistrate also have 2 and 3, and I have a big van, all right. It's really noisy, all right. Well, every time I notice, every time we come in, this group of old people, all right, will also come in. There are husband and wife, I presume, really looking old, be friendly to us, all right, sitting next to our kids, talking to them, praising on their baju, on the face they look, on the color of their skin. They then very admire you for being brown, all right, okay. But at the end of the day, after we have finished from one shop to another shop, right, okay, my friend, 2 or 3 of them who carry handbag. I'm a person who doesn't carry handbag because I got boys, and boys are very naughty. They need my hand. All right. Okay. They realized, the first we realized that their some of their scarf are gone missing. All right. And then other realized some of their cash, money in the bag are missing. Some of them realized that the children little watch, Superman, then it was not Batman. Batman gone missing from their hands. So you see, all right, how does that happen? In the beginning, because it was only a small things. So you thought you misplaced. All right, children get scolded. So when we had a break, lunch, and then we noticed at the end of the day, these oldies, they are the one who actually following us. They say they are also tourists in their own country. So we befriend them, all right? Okay, tapi at the end of the day, when we get back into the car, my friend noticed the whole big wallet is gone, all right? And not from one friend, from 3 magistrates, all right? So we reported, and that is the year in 1988, if I'm not mistaken. In England, some of the prominent streets, like Oxford Street, they already have a camera watching, and they showed to us how while walking, all right, these oldies, by being friendly to the kids, snatched on handbag that belongs to my friend. Slowly, they get whatever they want. In fact, they get quite a lot. All right. Okay. Now, according to the police, they know who did it. But the problem is, where do they go after that? That is, right? Okay, so being a tourist, at the end of the day, the problem gets solved. A passport get renewed or changed into a letter, and everybody gotta go home. All right, credit cards can be cancelled, but the cash is gone. But they can't. Fine. Then their surveillance through the camera is very limited, only on the road, right? After we go back into the car and then go to the police, they had a surveillance that much, Sahaja. But they know, they say they can't promise that it be caught, but this group will be repeating again. They disguise themselves. They are not young old people. They disguise themselves. At the end, after a few months, all right, the police from England wrote to the magistrate, okay, and informing them that they have identified, they found all the wigs and everything, and then these four people, all right, prosecuted. The other two, they still are looking for them. All right, now all that trace to the job of surveillance. Either you use your own eyes or you use the camera. All right. So later, then when we talk about evidence in court, this will be mandatory, right? But what is the participation from the public that we want? We want so that the surveillance, either through camera or through the eyes, all right, through suspicion from another people who are around, which is the commoner, are important for you to go, right? So every time when there is a surveillance, either that you wait there, your report will be important. Being friendly to the group of those people that is around you is important. When you are in the, what was it? When you are in the hospital, when you are in your office, when you are in your company, all right? Okay, sometimes we are busy, but even when we are busy, we still can look and remember. All right, okay, I was told as a lawyer, I must also survey. All right, I must also watch. And whatever I find that is funny, I normally have a book next to me or in my pocket. My husband always have, like a police, a little black book. All right, okay, that we jot down. Today, you nampak this old person looking funny. Even though she's old, she's wearing a really expensive watch or a diamond ring that doesn't befit her clothing or something like that. All right, even though some young people who disguise themselves as old, those were the trick of the trick of theft in England in the year 1980s. All right, because they know a lot of tourists would definitely love to have conversation with these old people, and they are normally not the first suspect. How can an old people steal, all right, from others, right? Okay, so you see, and most of the time we notice they are wearing lipstick for an old people. Sometimes their nails are colored. So these are the things that you have to look and report. So the next thing is to understand who you are surveilling, right? Report it out in your logbook, in a little book, in your handbag. Definitely you have a little book or a big book to write on. In hospital as well, some people are coming in. They are actually the one who have beaten their wife, but they are the one that brings in their wife in. There are also a situation where there are a mother who beat up their child, or you know more than I do. All right, so just look at the person who sent this. All right, okay. Identify them. That is part of your surveillance. Why are you doing this? Not to raise suspicion over the commoner or the public, but because you want to identify. The more you do this, the more you will realize that your eyes is accustomed to noticing something that is odd from the norms, from the usual daily commoner. That is very important.